Men's volleyball matinee action from State College, Pennsylvania on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon. It's the second half of the EIVA schedule slated to begin, and it's an in-state rivalry between Penn State and St. Francis. Jack Molesky alongside Eric Olson here. And Eric, this is a familiar matchup in so many ways. Playing in the same conference, the EIVA, the short trip from Loretto to State College takes only about an hour. And you have bloodlines on either side of the court meeting up. It's Stephen Braswell and Luke Braswell bringing another area of intrigue in this great matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. It's two teams that know each other so well. The matches they play, while Penn State has dominated of late, they're always entertaining. Great atmospheres both here at Penn State and at St. Francis, but adding that sibling rivalry just adds so much more to this matchup. You know, Stephen Braswell, the elder of the two brothers, great outside hitter. Luke Braswell, the setter for the Nittany Lions, runs this offense great. It's a great match every time we see these guys together.
And it's not just the Braswell brothers that will bring the highlights today. St. Francis also, you're looking at outside hitter Brandon Buck. He's been absolutely phenomenal this season.
Yeah, senior outside hitter for St. Francis. Most kills per set on the team this year. Also leads them in blocks. Had 8 kills, 5 digs, and a block against Penn State in their first match. Braswell and Buck, the two guys that the Nittany Lions are going to have to key in on defensively. If they can shut one of those guys down, it's easier to shut down the other. Buck is a guy the Nittany Lions are going to have to focus on this afternoon.
And for Penn State, it's offense by committee. There are a lot of guys to look at, but one who had a phenomenal game against Ohio State, 15 kills, and that was Cal Mendy.
Yeah, absolutely, and he had so much this offense. The Nittany Lions have great hitters. McLaren doing so well this season, and that's why Mendy is a guy to maybe look for this afternoon because McLaren has been doing so well, leading the team in kills. That might mean a couple more swings for Cal Mendy, and Luke Braswell is the one who's going to run this offense, decide how to distribute the ball. So look for Mendy to get a few more swings this afternoon against the St. Francis team.
A lot to look forward to this afternoon. The close proximities of the school only making this rivalry that much more intense as we head into the second half of EIVA action. Penn State, St. Francis, when we return here on BTN. Nittany Lions up 18-14, their largest lead of set number 2, as this was right about the time we saw St. Francis start to crumble in set number 1 as Penn State was able to take that 25-20. With Aiden Albrecht behind the line, Nittany Lions up by 4, looking to extend the lead. Carver's dug by Clemens. Tight to the net, Mendy has to go get it, tips over the block, dug. Buck cross court, kept alive by Albrecht. McLaren with the swing. Another great dig in the back row by St. Francis. Buck rolls it over the block. This time Braswell the setter. Unorthodox swing by Albrecht will reset. Now St. Francis. Braswell off triple block and out of bounds. And there's the first long rally that has gone St. Francis's way. Stephen Braswell with the kill. It's a great way to establish momentum out of a timeout.
Yeah, and you talked about that unorthodox swing coming from Albrecht. The timing was just a little bit off on the set from Braswell. Forced Albrecht to send a free ball there, giving St. Francis that opportunity.
St. Francis will have to string a couple together, however. Still down by 3. Clemens will pass from the back row. McLaren chops over the block. Pipe play for Thompson, dug by Luke Braswell. Mendy off the block, one-armed by Albrecht. McLaren takes a swing down the line for the kill. And how about the defense from Aiden Albrecht to cover, and then McLaren with the kill.
Hey, you had Kozlak and Thompson there in the back row, ready for that ball. Both players going down, but McLaren just so smart with his placement here. Really didn't have a lot of options except to go line. Maybe a bit of a touch there on that block, but getting it down to the floor.
Jason Donarovich with the assist on that play. He's behind the line. Braswell will roll, and Donarovich can't get there. Stephen Braswell with kill number 7, 19-16. Well, Penn State has been siding out so well all match, you almost feel like it's inevitable that St. Francis gets a point. Penn State will seem to get it right back.
Yeah, the Nittany Lions have been hanging around about 80%, fallen right now to 77%. St. Francis holding there in the low 60s, right now at 63%.
McLaren beats a triple block. Another case where that was the only set that Braswell had, but McLaren was able to get it enough towards the middle of the court to get point number 20 for the Nittany Lions. Some room to breathe, up by 4 as Mendy serves. Flips it over from the 3-meter line. It's Kozilek. High hands for the kill goes Thompson.
Yeah, Braswell and Gear were there for the Nittany Lions off the touch of, I think, Luke Braswell, pulling St. Francis back within 3 here. The Red Flash are not out of this set. They're hitting 268, actually. That just climbed to 286. Their best performance here of the match thus far. Hitting 203 overall in this match. But this second set here is where the offense has started to come alive for St. Francis.
This season, St. Francis, not a great attacking team. A 194 hitting percentage as a team, as Mendy has all kinds of room down the line. It's the 3rd lowest in the EIVA, so when they win matches, if they're not attacking well, St. Francis hasn't really been able to find other ways to come out on top. And big reason why they're struggling right now in the EIVA standings at 3 and 4, middling right there with Charleston, West Virginia. McLaren, big serve. Near side, Thompson into the seam, and overpass from Clemens. Braswell from the back row will roll. Clemens digs. Luke Braswell, Mendy out of the back row, chops. Thrown in the air by St. Francis. K. Grice sends it over. Braswell, setter dump into the block. Gear resets. Clemens tight to the net. Albrecht will chop high hands. Swing from Buck. A roll shot. That'll get the job done. Sloppy rally there at the end goes the way of St. Francis. Second long rally they've won in a row. It's 21-18.
Yeah, back within 3 here, and in these situations, the Nittany Lions have been able to hold St. Francis at bay because they've been able to side out so well. St. Francis needs to go on a run, but Brandon Buck at the service line. 21 aces on the year. He's a guy who can help pull a team back, unless he puts it into the net.
Well, if you hadn't jinxed them, Eric, I think he would have been fine behind there, as Buck with the service errors that are coming pretty frequently now for St. Francis. It will be 12 on the match for the Red Flash. 22-18. And again, Penn State doing just enough to keep St. Francis at bay in set number 2. Here comes Penrose. Takes a little off that, and it's good enough for the ace. So Penrose throwing rockets in his first trip from behind the line, comes back with the off speed, and is able to find the floor.
What makes the serve of Jalen Penrose so tough to receive is it tails down so quickly. It just drops right from out underneath you. Stephen Braswell frustrated that he couldn't get down low on that one.
Penrose tries to overpower that one into the net. But anytime you get at least one ace, you're going to take that from a service specialist coming into the match. It's 23-19.
Oh, absolutely. Now 37 aces on the year for Jalen Penrose, leading this team.
There's some miscommunication in the back row. McLaren and Clemens got tangled up. 23-20, Penn State. Royce Clemens having another phenomenal match against the Red Flash. My turn for the announcer's jinx, although that's a great serve by Buck. Rather, Thompson behind the line brings St. Francis within 2. It's 23-21, and Penn State will call a timeout to talk things over. The Red Flash making things interesting in set number 2. They won't go away quietly.